Hello everybody, this is Mrs. Rutan. I'm going to be doing some of these videos. These videos are meant to help you if you weren't here for the class discussion, but they also could be great resources for review, especially as we get into second semester and we get closer to the May exam date. So today, the objective is to review some of the strategies from first semester that I've already done, and then to introduce a really important strategy called the Rule of Two. So I'm going to click through this PowerPoint, and I'm also going to be jumping back to a handout. Both resources are really important. So this is the agenda, and then I want you guys to reflect a little bit on what you've already done. It's really important that you guys go back through your binders. You might even start creating a special tab for your favorite AP exam strategies or a special folder. Maybe you sticky note some important parts in your writer's notebook, but you really want to make sure that you have good resources and you review, because there's so much. We're in a semester, 2 semesters together, and I want to make sure that you look at what we've already done, because that's good stuff. Homework. All right. So the first review item is vanilla claims and roadmap theses. This was actually at the very beginning of the year. It was a discussion we had, especially in relationship to papers and response papers. So read these two claims, or thesis, if you want to use thesis. I use claim, and the reason why I use claim is because I want you to claim something, and when you claim it, you're going to have to argue and defend that claim. As opposed to thesis. I don't like thesis because you get something that looks very cliche. So you should have read these two, and you should realize that this is your roadmap thesis. It is going to take you to diction, imagery, and point of view. It is highlighting the Gretel. It's the Gretel prompt. And it's identifying the prompt, which is good. But it's very, very cliche. It's very vanilla. This is going to be your more interesting and dynamic thesis or claim, and this is what's going to make your AP reader pay attention. I will tell you, though, if you are in panic mode during the exam, do a roadmap thesis, do a cliche essay, because that will get you a 5. But if you are trying to get those upper level essays, you want to make sure that you do something like this. Moving forward, the second strategy that we worked on over the first few weeks of the semester was knowing your prompt. So knowing the prompt is going to be a distractor. It's going to have a lot of wordiness. It's going to have a lot for you to process, and realize it can be simplified. So when you look at this prompt, I'm looking for what is the main focus, and the main focus right here is discuss the speaker's recollection and analyze how he conveys the significance of experience. So that's really wordy and fancy, but basically what it's talking about is some type of experience and memory. Recollection means memory, and then experience. So something is going to happen in the piece that is an experience, and in actuality, the prompt already tells you that the experience is a childhood experience where he meets an older woman who inspires him. This prompt right here, once again, it's got the same kind of sentence stems, but you are analyzing how the speaker describes the juggler. So the juggler is a person, it is a character, and you have to talk about the descriptions of that character. So this is a characterization prompt. The next prompt introduces same structure and organization. You need to analyze the relationship between music and the speaker's complex memories of their family. So this is a complex relationships prompt. It has also got memories in there too. This one, read by the author, looking. I see the word relationship. I see tree and family. So this is also complex relationships. The difference, though, is the complex relationships are not human to human. It is an object to humans or a human group. So that is a repeat slide. And then right here it says, analyze how the poet uses language to describe the scene to convey mood and meaning. So this one is a little bit different, but basically scene is setting. So this is asking you to pick apart how the poem depicts a certain setting. So being able to come up with that is going to help you stay focused. And if you don't know what the core content piece that the prompt is asking you to do, you need to make sure you have that before you get into it. The next thing is aha moments. This is the analysis, and this is where the scoring comes in. We talked about the more ahas that you can give your reader, the higher you're going to jump in the scoring chart. We also looked at the rubric and we identified keywords or simplified it. So a 1 to 2 is right here, and you can read that one because I don't really want to talk much about that one. Kids who are in the 3 to 4 range, your essay is inadequate, it's partial, it's unconvincing, and you might even have some misreading. Kids who are in the 5, you are making a plausible but superficial essay. It's thin and formulaic, and that goes back to the roadmap thesis. If you are completely freaked out and the poem, it's just time and everything, you can get away with doing a 5. But what we really are striving for is the 6 through 9. Can you be reasonable and insightful? Can you control your analysis? Or can you go above and even make the analysis effective, persuasive, and perceptive? And this is where you have style. This means you do what you need to do, very cliche. This means you didn't even accomplish what you were supposed to do. But this is where we get the style. And this is where the angels start to sing. This is very vanilla or kind of classic. And then this is basically where you kind of trip and miss the finish line. So that was a review. So now I'd like to talk about the rule of 2. The rule of 2 is basically a way to strengthen and add more to your essays. As an AP reader, the only thing that I can do is reward what you've done well and what you give me. And when your essay is only a page long, there's not enough for me to reward. And traditionally, kids start to understand the concepts more as they write, and they actually get to the analysis later in the essay. And if you put more on the page, I can give you more rewards. And then lastly, a weakness I was noticing in the Gretel and Darkness essays, which was your second essay, right, was a lot of you didn't understand what the prompt was asking, and that's also why your essay wasn't long enough. So, we're going to switch to the handout. The handout looks like this. I'd like you to take a few minutes to read this sample essay that I created. When you get done doing that, I need you to ask yourself, what do you notice about the structure? Like right now, it's a 4-paragraph essay, which is intriguing, and we'll talk more about that. So pause if you need to. Next, I need you to look at the strategy. So the rule of 2 is a strategy where you give yourself 2 of everything. Basically, anytime you have a sentence or a paragraph structure that you need to create, give yourself 2 sentences to do it. Give yourself 2 sentences to lead in the introduction. Give yourself 2 sentences to create your thesis or your claim. The more you give me as an AP reader, the more I can give back to you in terms of scoring. When it comes to body paragraphs, the rule of 2 is especially helpful because a lot of kids don't have enough analysis, and this is where you're going to get your most high scoring range, is because of the analysis within the body of the essay. So give yourself 2 sentences to introduce what you're about to talk about. This is probably your craft devices. Then move into 2 chunks or moments of evidence. And this can look a little bit different as you read in the description, but when you start giving evidence, more evidence is better, especially with prompt 1 and 2, because you have the resource in front of you. They want you to celebrate and explore the poem, and they want you to absorb it. You're a literature student. They want to see your interaction with the literature and your ability to take the literature and put it into your own words. And then this is the most important. Please give me 2 closing sentences. Please give me the opportunity to go back to the prompt and make sure that your analysis comes together with those 2 sentences. Now, I will say sometimes you'll write your paragraphs and you're in a rush, and obviously planning is really important with this, but you can always go back and add another sentence, especially towards the end of the essay when you finish up. Another really important thing about the rule of 2 is the way that you're able to use grammar. Grammar is a style device, and style is in those upper level 6 to 9 essays. Your conclusion also is a rule of 2, and there's you still got to go back to the claim, but you really want to talk kind of about the overall piece in relationship to the claim, as opposed to up here you're picking smaller pieces. And then a lot of kids struggle with what to do for the conclusion. Title analysis is really good. That's up here. I think another really exceptional way to round out is to look at what the writer's overall intention is. They always write for a purpose. What is that purpose? Identify it for your reader. Or you could talk about the poem's overall focus or theme. A lot of kids get punny and they play off of the word choicing in the poem, and that's really clever too. So the goal here Oh, darn it. Ignore that. The goal here is for you guys to think about the rule of two. Moving back to the conclusion, I want you to kind of color coordinate. I did my first paragraph, look at my second body paragraph, and see if you can identify how I use the rule of two. And then definitely make sure you look at your own essay and ask yourself, where could I have pushed the rule of two more? Finally, I want you guys to try this on a new prompt. And see how you can apply this strategy in terms, all the strategies actually, from the different review activities as well as what I think you should learn from the rule of two. So good luck, and once again, the biggest takeaways here, give me more. If you give me more, as the AP reader, I can reward you for what you do well. So good luck and happy writing.